Hey, yo, what's good with it, y'all? It's your boy, Mistah Wilson. And you are now tuned in to Wilson Block 100 Radio.
Yeah, West Coast nigga, this is my home. And my feelings to get you for everything that you own. Everything that you got, from your socks to your drawers and your phone. Leave you shivering in nothing but your skin and your bones, nigga. You better pay some respects. I'm far from Busta Rhymes, but I be breaking they necks. Been on the grind for years, trying to hustle them checks. Now I'm hungry for a meal and I won't settle for less. And I live out here where we deal with them colors of them clippers, them bloods and crips. You slip up and they gon' get you. Find a nice box for them to fit you. Wanted it round, bust rounds and know not to miss you. And hit you right where it counts. For them 1, 2, 3 times you was running your mouth. Out here, West Coast niggas, they will leave you stuck. Cause bitch niggas like you don't get Cali love. All aboard, we on the West Coast train, nigga. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing. All aboard, we on the West Coast train. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing. All aboard.
I'm about to lift, clear the strip, baby. Crack spit like we in the 80s. Lately, pencil mental sharper than your test day. Pistol whistle from the first to the last page. That's a 187 for every 16 given. Since I've been spitting, so you shouldn't be living. Guess the dead got ears. Can you hear my vision? Raise out the grave and listen. More potential than newborn children. My possibilities endless. Rhymes written in the book of Guinness, record breaking. Take a second, I'm the best at making records breaking. Heavyweight and open wide, I am defecating. Lesser hating cause I'm less of patience. Devastation from the western nation. Every breath I'm taking is like the text spraying. Decorate them in that yellow tape.
All aboard, we on the West Coast train, nigga. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing. All aboard, we on the West Coast train. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing.
Never fall when you slip, never stall when you shift. Cause that clutch is a bitch, but I'm stuck up in 5th. And my hand has an itch, here I stand innocent. In my hand there's a clip to demand what I get. Understand I'm the shit, other rappers faking it. Rap shit I'm taking it, only for the sake of it. Check who I'm sanctioned with, SP we're dangerous men. For dope we're anxious in, this water we're ankle in. We're shark that walk on land, so run when you spot our fin. Don't care what you hollering, don't think that it bothers them. Watch the mood you gotta send, you do not wanna offend. You do not wanna contend, I truly don't recommend you coming close to these men. You comatose in the end, I guess you're losing again. It's no hallucinogen, just accept if you step, you'll be slept. Fitted all twisted, laying on the front step, motherfucker.
All aboard, we on the West Coast train, nigga. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing. All aboard, we on the West Coast train. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing. All aboard, we on the West Coast train, nigga. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing. All aboard, we on the West Coast train. This is California where we do the damn thing. We got them VAs and them 2 swell trays. On my thug ass niggas, just do the damn thing. All aboard.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to Wilson Block 100 Radio. It's your boy, Mistah Wilson. Yo, check this out, man. Okay, we doing articles straight off the website. This is an article inside the Wilson Block magazine, written by yours truly, okay? Historic architecture abounds amid nationwide homelessness, okay? Now, this is completely from my mind, okay? And we just go ahead and I'm gonna give it to you, okay? I just think there is something to be said about affluent organizations discussing homes as a recreational hobby when we have countless people, students and taxpayers included, who can barely get approved for studio apartments, okay? Now, I moved to Pasadena, California, September 2002, Wilson Avenue, okay, Bungalow Heaven. Being only 12 years old at the time, I had no idea that I was dwelling in a reputable community. Through my early teen years in Pasadena, I would notice that every now and again, members of the neighborhood would have an open house tour. It took a few years before I caught on to what it was. Seeing whole groups of strangers walking up the streets I call home, okay? As a youth and an outsider, it developed a sense of pride in me. You know, like what y'all doing in my hood, you know what I mean? It was April 2006. I'm now 16 years old. Bungalow Heaven's home tour was set up in McDonald Park, and I was AWOL from my group home in Baldwin Park, okay? I was virtually homeless, but I had homies that looked out for me back then. Now, me not knowing exactly what it was about, I walked up to the booths and started checking it out. I didn't really understand it. It was something I wasn't formally introduced to yet. Okay, I soon came across the coffee and bagel table, but I didn't see any fixings for the coffee, so I thought it was kind of whack. Okay, about an hour or so later, I got arrested for something I won't mention in this article, but it was completely unrelated to Bungalow Heaven's event, okay? This was pretty much my first encounter with the Bungalow Heaven Neighborhood Association. But while I was being hauled off to juvenile camp, I still didn't understand what that event was, okay? It didn't bother me much, but years come and gone would show me just how significant those home tours were. While I was locked up, I remember reading a home-based magazine that just so happens to list something like the top 10 best neighborhoods to live in around the United States. Much to my surprise, Bungalow Heaven appeared number 2 on that list, just behind a neighborhood in Oregon that took it all, okay? It hit me hard because the people that were featured in the article were my neighbors on Wilson Avenue, okay? I recognized them. I read the whole article and felt so proud to have my neighborhood that I technically wasn't even a part of featured in the magazine, let alone hitting the number 2 spot, okay? It made me feel proud to be from this part of town, okay? Wilson, Black East Side, okay? Now, fast forward to 2013. I'm 23 years old, and I start the Wilson Block magazine, amongst other relative projects, okay? I started doing conceptual street sign photography later that year, and it led me to start paying closer attention to homes, okay, houses, okay? I began to realize just how much of a thing historic architecture was, okay? It didn't just get here when I read it was already here, you know what I mean? That there are huge organizations that help maintain the integrity of an era that has become a treasure in today's society. I started to read up on the different landmark districts and historically registered neighborhoods to know and understand their borders. I like to think I've acquired some of the pride that comes with having such prestigious status as a neighborhood, okay? I mean, it's one thing to have a historically registered home, but to have an entire neighborhood classified as such is a pretty big deal. I would walk the historic Highlands. I would pass by Chris Holden's home in Orange Heights, you know what I'm saying? And I'd just be all over the North Pasadena Heights, you know what I'm saying? Now, in 2013, I was dealing with homelessness, okay? I was aware of the architecture code, but I wasn't there yet. My interest in wanting to learn more about historic architecture grew to the point where I decided to reach out to Pasadena Heritage, okay? Janet from Garfield Heights corresponded with me and offered to do an exclusive neighborhood tour with my photographer and I, okay? We did an exclusive interview with them, article interview, and it turned out to be a great spread. Janet was even gracious enough to sponsor our membership for a year, but then life hit. I couldn't ignore how I was interested in something that was so special, something only a few people can really boast about, okay? Homelessness throughout LA County has been severe since the day I started actually paying attention, okay? You'll hear a lot of preservation advocates insist on an open discussion now that our ancestors on both sides who've already done the damage are gone, okay? But the issue has little more depth than that. See, homelessness is clearly a systemic problem. It was caused by inhumane business practices from Wall Street, insurance companies, realty firms, politicians, and so on. I mean, let's be real for a minute here. In a capitalist society, those who are without have no seat at the table. I mean, because of that, people throughout all generations alive today are left in a disposition. In my opinion, it starts at the federal level. But without going too far back and into this thing, let's just discuss it on a local level, okay? Over the decades, industry and building has been an ever-growing activity. Firms are granted contracts, and those contracts come with stipulations that must satisfy federal administrative appetites, okay? Now you have big development companies wanting to buy and rebuild plots of land, while a plethora of commercial real estate and residential apartments lay vacant. Yeah, that big high-rise they're building around the corner that has all the construction, delaying your travel every day, your local politicians approved it, while renters have little to no protection. It begs the question to councilmen and women, how do you manage to close new development deals that impede on the quality of life in the city while at the same time allowing the displacement of your own citizens? I mean, who's really benefiting here? Because it doesn't appear to be the people being gentrified out, okay? Or is it? Now, with all that said, let's get back to historic architecture. I have a growing suspicion of these advocacy groups because the people in possession of such properties most likely benefited from the poor and unfair practices around homes and developments in this country, okay? The way they're sold and acquired, okay? I mean, again, let's be real for a minute here. Who in the world would want to change something that works for them, right? Rich people in America don't want much to change because it was this very climate that got them to where they're at, okay? It'll be war if you try to take it from them. Now, I wrote this article because I thought it would be worth mentioning that, hey, historic architecture abounds amid nationwide homelessness, okay? I just think there is something to be said about affluent organizations discussing homes as a recreational hobby when we have countless people, students and taxpayers included, who can barely get approved for studio apartments. Is this the type of America I was supposed to be proud of? Is this the country I should want to die for? Because when you're black in America, there is nowhere to go when there's nowhere to go. Okay, it's your boy Mistah Wilson, Wilson Block 100 Radio. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. And until next time, I'm out.
Red rose and tea. Red rose and tea.
I ain't the type to settle down, but I'm down to tie the knot with you.
With you.
Because you hold a nigga down and you're always telling me the truth.
The truth.
No longer I question you, cause you always show the proof.
Babe, our chemistry feels electric, and you know times get hectic, and we tend to get reckless. But remember, our love is bigger than Texas. Ooh, after all the pain and the rain clears, you know I'ma always wash away your fears, and you know that I lick your tears. Ooh, our past don't change our relationship. Locked up for getting cash, you know I'm chasing that paper again. 'Cause babe, you know something I die for. We don't never going off like fireworks July 4th. We been through it all, the ups, the falls like Niagara, but we get right back up like Viagra. The ups, the falls like Niagara. Ooh,
I ain't the type to settle down, but I'm down to tie the knot with you.
with you.
Because you hold a nigga down and you're always telling me the truth. No longer I question you, cause you always show the proof.
Hey,
You always show the proof, girl, you show it.
you show it, and you know it.
You always show the proof, girl, keep showing it.
Keep showing it.
You always show the proof, girl, you show it.
You know it, you know it.
You always show the proof, girl, keep showing it.
Keep showing it, keep showing it. You been down with me when I was broke or paid, and I still love you, our love will never fade. This shit real, no dream, I could pitch you. You know how a nigga was living when we first hooked up, boo. I was in the streets, doing what I gotta do. So don't ask me to give it up for you. Just hold me down, and we gon' live it up, ooh. And now I don't need you to show your ass like Trina. I just need you to be feisty and hold that Nina, ooh. Hold that Nina.
I ain't the type to settle down, but I'm down to tie the knot with you. Because you hold a nigga down and you're always telling me the truth. No longer I question you, cause you always show the proof. You always show the proof, girl, you show it. You always show the proof, girl, keep showing it. You always show the proof, girl, you show it. You always show the proof, girl, keep showing it.
Keep showing
best in Pasadena music, local music, okay? Until next time, I'm out.